Yeah, that sounds right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Patreon episode. Dylan may or may not at any time leave to let his cat out.
I'm going to show you a picture, everyone here, of usually I have a pretty good, it's not, well, essentially, I live in a 3-room place. One room is a kitchen, and I rig up my bedroom to be sort of a studio, but I'm going to take a picture of how I'm filming this right now because I'm under a windowsill. And let me tell you this, it looks like an episode of Hoarders where they won the lottery.
That's very good. Also, I want all of
My
you to
wife
know that
bought
Dylan.
Christmas presents for the fucking mailman.
No, a bunch of people.
We don't have a mailman. This is in the 50s. But people would think, racist people would think that about Canada.
Yeah. I have not bought anyone any Christmas presents because I was just like,
Yeah, of course not. Also, if you're watching the Patreon video, John's encased completely in darkness saying, I didn't buy anyone any presents.
no, because I'm gonna do it now that it's December. Everyone's like, I did my Christmas shopping in July, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was friends with a bunch of fucking nerds. You do it in December, you
No,
fucking bitches. Yes, you
You do it in September, apparently. And
No,
you
you
do it
don't.
all from liquidation places. That's what my
No,
wife
but
did.
that's also because your wife is a type A personality to the point of it's just sort of like if I do all the
insanity.
Christmas presents now, then that's totally fine. Oh wait, but now you have
And I get an early start on St. Patrick's Day.
exactly. It's like you have 80 presents in a 3-room place with a child and a rotund man who's very prone to falling down.
Wow,
presents
who?
would
You
be
came
broken.
over? Nice. I'm fucking
Oh, that's
in
you.
now.
That's
You
fucking you,
came
you
over.
big piece of shit.
Sorry, I thought it was a
How
Ferrero
many?
Rocher. John,
Here's my
that was a TV. Oh, sorry, that's how
Here's
big
my
they
impression of
are.
Dylan. Here's my impression of Dylan before we forgot or you stopped
Okay,
drinking.
well, I
Oh
brought the cat
no,
out,
I
so everyone will just
pissed.
have to.
Oh no, I pissed. Oh no, I pissed on anything but isn't a
I would
toilet.
never. I would be like,
Dylan,
oh, good, I pissed.
Dylan treated his entire house like it was that one guy who is a toilet at an orgy. Dylan calls himself the plumber because he lets it flow. You know what I'm saying? Dylan calls himself the plunger because he lets it flow. Dylan calls himself the plunger. He lets it flow. Oh, Dylan calls himself the plunger.
Oh, great, I
He
left the
lets
mic
it
for a
flow.
couple seconds. Is John singing songs from Mein Kampf or whatever that book is?
No, I'm singing from Springtime for Hitler. And it is a song about you because you're very featured in that because you are a supporter
like
of
him.
the Nazi Party. You're a supporter of the Nazi Party.
I did not like them.
Dylan,
I
Nazi
reverse
supporter guy.
supported them. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Summerslam 1990. And you know what? There's 680 million wrestling podcasts that go through pay-per-views where match by match and they rate the matches. We're not
We
going to
will
do
not
that.
be doing that. No,
Me
no,
and
no.
Uncle Darkness are going to be
Hello, my old
randomly saying weird things about these.
We're focusing on what you come to wrestling podcasts for. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty partying so hard they had to fake a knee injury for Shawn Michaels in the first match, and he didn't wrestle until Survivor Series.
Now that is what we like. This, of course, won the poll, and it was James Harvey. James Harvey that won the poll. Next up on the poll will be the 3 remaining other options. I forget what those are, but I'll post them, and then you'll vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, SummerSlam 90 is one of the most amazing pay-per-views in WWE history because it basically features a bunch of Golden Age people, a bunch of stars from territories, and then the double main event is the biggest example of why Ultimate Warrior's run did not work. Hulk Hogan facing the new big scary baby face that was built up, beats him quick. And then steel cage match with Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude. We've already seen the Ultimate Warrior beat Rick Rude so many different ways and times. Why do we care?
Yeah, that's interesting. Also, we should mention this. During that double main event, as they called it, which is very funny, because they couldn't just let it be the Ultimate Warrior's main event and Hogan
No,
on the
never.
undercard.
No. It's and also like I'm 90% sure Hulk Hogan wanted to go on last. Like it's crazy how weird it is that he's not last.
100%. Well, this sets the stage for Triple H's entire anytime anyone else had the title, this was Triple H's run, except for Warrior would have switched positions with Earthquake.
Yeah,
sorry,
and Warrior
not Earthquake, but with
no,
Hogan
no.
match. It would have
I
been
told you.
the title matches on the undercard, and then Hulk Hogan gets his revenge on. Also very good, John Tenta, 27 years old.
This is wild to me. John Tenta is 27 years old. He's hanging
Insanity.
out with a tiny songwriter and a cigarette smuggler. He is wearing a signet that makes him look like a big scary baby, and he so looks like every girlfriend's dad in high school that's just sort of like,
Yeah.
she better not be touching your crank, you little queer. God,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
Earthquake.
yeah.
Yeah. That
That should have been
Earthquake
his
is what.
character.
Yeah.
Homophobic dad.
Oh my God, the Dylan got.
Even if you have sex, you're gay.
Yeah.
I'm
Feeling
John
anything
Tenta.
feeling anything that isn't neutral is gay. I'm John Tenta.
I like a guy who's so ugly that the Vince McMahon who's like, it's the 90s. People can't handle your face. We're in a ratings war. You're playing what I will call Eugene, but fat. You'll learn what Eugene is after this.
Yeah. As everyone knows, I've taken so many steroids I can now actually see time like it's a flat plane.
Oh, this, by the way, this is when you get Vince McMahon being like you pointed this out on the Umaga episode, is that Eric Bischoff was actually a better heel than Vince McMahon, and this is
That's
where you
right.
get Vince McMahon being.
I'll tell you who's the better
going,
face than Eric Bischoff.
SummerSlam, I'm
Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
currently
you literally
getting
have
sucked off by
yeah.
my.
Welcome everyone to an spa. Sitting next to me is the guy who gave me this cocaine. It's really bad.
That what happened is he would time it so there was little milestones Shane would get to in his life where Shane had just participated knowingly in an art class where he painted something, and Vince was so mad that wasn't another business class that he screamed the SummerSlam intro.
Yeah. Vince McMahon recorded the SummerSlam intro every Christmas and Thanksgiving at the McMahon house because he thinks that's. Oh, is it Christmas time where you, Dylan? Merry Christmas.
He placed all the cups
Christmas
with
cheer.
Christmas cups.
Yeah. We're recording this in October. We're fucking wild.
This is pre-recorded in August.
Yeah. This
I
is
was
pre-recorded.
pissed that John didn't have his Christmas shopping done because it's
Yeah.
August
Dylan was
already.
very
It's
angry.
already
Dylan does
August.
all of it. Dylan does all of his Christmas shopping Black Friday of the previous year, which is why I got a Gangnam style T-shirt from him in 2016.
I think the craziest thing would be, and I do think
Why
about this
Dylan's
every
getting
year,
a
it's like,
Dylan's getting
what
an
if I
I'm
just
with
went
her
on
shirt.
Boxing Day on Facebook Marketplace and bought all my presents by driving around buying up things people don't want?
I would love.
I've never thought of doing that, and now I'm going to do it this year. I'm just going to drive around on Boxing Day with my son buying up. Yeah, I'll
You
take a
should absolutely-
PlayStation 5 because this old guy doesn't know what it is.
I will totally. You should totally do that because also the addition of your son is great because they're like, this seems really weird, and then you're like, I got a baby though, and then everyone will be like,
I brought
that
a
he
fucking
does have a
baby.
baby. He's got a baby. That's okay. Actually, he's got
He
a
does
baby.
have a baby. I don't know if having a baby makes a weird thing less weird. Why are you
No,
trying
it
to
makes
vote on
the-
this election the first day it was announced? My kid's with me. Well, that makes sense.
That's
You'll
what
have
it is.
so
Is
much
what
time
it
when
is.
you're a
Is
parent.
it's going. Well, this kid isn't dead yet. He's got to be good at least that. We'll let him go. Or
get away
it's
with
he's
a
so
lot.
tired from having a kid, that's why he's behaving this way.
Oh, SummerSlam was August 90. When did WrestleMania? When did Hogan lose to Warrior? This was the WrestleMania
90. He lost.
5 months
It would have
previous.
been. Yeah, it would
I
have
could
been
have sworn it was
March.
91 for some reason. Man, the roster was fucking stacked. Here's a guy who
Oh my
didn't-
God! This
who
is
was
literally
not on the pay-per-view. Dusty Rhodes cut a promo on this pay-per-view.
Oh, Dusty. Let's talk about the Dusty Rhodes angle. This
Oh,
is the
yeah.
best Dusty Rhodes angle ever, which is Sapphire's supposed to fade Sensational Sherry. Sensational Sherry comes out dressed as Juventud Guerrera and a cat. Fuck yeah, Sherry. And then Sweet Sapphire cannot be found. Every commentator and interviewer talks about how Sensational Sherry is black by referring to her things as hot chocolate,
Yes.
like the mocha late. Like it is wild what they get up to. Like they're like,
Also, mentioned in our Bad News Brown episode, Sapphire was like the name of every black character from Amos and Andy. That has to be said.
which we bear in mind. You know you're being racist when the fucking guys who look like the Proud Boys that are gonna have to be testify in front of Congress have to look up the reference that makes you go, well.
Well, Bad News Brown said that also originally Sapphire's name was the only other female name Vince McMahon knows for an African American, which is Tony Atlas the Lady.
Yeah. She was Lady Tony Atlas for a couple of house shows, and then they tried.
I know it's clunky, but that's what her name is.
And then they tried out just The Rock's dad for a couple of days, but they felt that didn't make any sense.
Rocky
'Cause as we all
Johnson misses.
Yeah. It's no, just The Rock. It's The Rock's dad. Um, so Sweet Sapphire is supposed to have a match with Sensational Sherry to extend the feud between the Macho King and Dusty Rhodes, and she doesn't show up just because the $1 Million Man's paid her off, and it's the best because for a solid 10 minutes, all you get is Dusty Rhodes' theme song continually played. What more do you want from a wrestling pay-per-view? Here's all I want. American Dream.
I like it.
He's just the common man. Also, if you ever see me at the gym and wonder how is he pumping so hard, it's because I'm listening to wrestling theme songs from the 80s and 90s, my friend. Put on that common man. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Demolition theme. Get it in my ears. Real American. Of course I am. That is it.
Yeah, what was it? My father-in-law came into the garage while I was working out one time, and I was listening to that Ronan Farrow documentary about Bill Cosby, and I'm fucking putting up mad weight, and then just like my eyes are bulging out of my head, and I fucking put up 260 pounds just as the words, and that's when I realized Bill Cosby raped me, went over the went over the speaker, and then my father-in-law was like, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And I was like, "Fair question. That's." You don't work out hard to podcast like I do, you know?
Yeah, I have worked out hard to. I like working out hard to a wrestling podcast because just when you're like fucking just, you're doing 100 low weight reps because one of your entire arms is just metal from various bike accidents. Just doing that very slowly to maintain your form and muscle growth, while just hearing Eric Bischoff essentially trying to bully Tony Khan because Eric Bischoff thinks Tony Khan is just him again. Because Eric Bischoff is so fucking egotistical. He thinks it's the same situation. Is the greatest inspiration ever because you're just going, I don't care if I buy a bunch of black market steroids and cocaine from this Birmingham steroid dealer at the Pure Gym that's not exactly next to the Arcadia, but pretty close. I'll never be as crazy as Eric Bischoff. Also, I do roids now. I'm on roids right now.
You should.
I do roids.
You had so many injuries. You should do it. You should do the John Cena thing where it's like John Cena's going to be out for a year. Remember that time John Cena's going to be out for a year? He has a bad shoulder. And then it was like the next week, like, John Cena's back.
Yeah, John Cena's back. Other things that are true about John Cena. He can't pee right now. And also, shut the fuck up. Hey, shut the fuck up. This is also 1990. This is the last gasp of full steroid WWF. Like, you all have to remember.
Yeah, these are juicy boys.
Oh, the Warlord is covered in medicine.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Paul Roma and Hercules, first match, Power and Glory versus
great.
the Rockers.
Power and Glory is the most underrated tag team in the history of the WWF. I love
everyone
them.
Hates Paul Roma.
And also, when you look back, why do you hate Paul Roman? It's like, well,
I love
he didn't want to interrupt a card game. That was the main thing. They're like, he didn't want to interrupt a card game. That's bullshit.
Well, Paul Roma also came in when wrestling was in a boom, and everyone hates people who do that. Everyone hates people who come into wrestling and they're like, hey, I want to make a living off of this thing immediately. It's like, no, you spend basically 5 years as an indentured fucking servant, and then you make minimum wage, but with expenses far less than that, and then you make some money.
Wrestlers and comedians are very similar in that they do not like the idea of anyone doing the thing they love just for money, because if they did it just for money, they wouldn't have had to do 10 horrific things that they had to do.
Yeah, it's very much like it completely it makes a fool out of you in a weird way, you feel like.
Yeah, you're like, what's also that, why did I have to do that and you don't? When it's just that thing of like, well, because two people are on two different journeys, you fucking weirdo.
Well, it's also like there's the Atlantic Sea, and then sometimes there's the jealousy.
Oh, you fucking did it.
I think I've said that before, but also I'll keep saying it.
I hope you've never said that I hope you've said that to your wife and she looked at you and went, DIV. Don't make me finish spelling the word. Shit. Fuck.
DIV?
Yeah. She'll spell the whole word.
In the vag. That's what that means.
Yo! That's why you got a kid, bro.
It's true.
You. Hey, when you busted the nut that made your kid, did you look her in the eyes and just go, you're welcome?
Yeah, well, we had an argument about how quickly she would get pregnant, and it was immediate.
Yeah, I assume you made
And
that
so I
point.
was like, yeah, well, I dropped slop, and then I tried once in my life to have a kid, and I had a kid, and
Yeah, because
that's why I
here's the
always
thing.
either triple bagged it, or I would put it in once, and then go into the other room and masturbate. Never
I've
full, because I
I-
knew what my pre-cum would do, John.
I've seen Dylan have sex. I wasn't in the same room, but I was in the adjoining room, and Dylan,
It
I
was
heard him put it
before our
in, and then
Patreon. I was like, "Does this video work?" And I just send me and John would
yeah,
send
yeah, yeah,
videos of
and
each
it's
other
just a
having
video of
sex.
him. He puts it in a woman. It was his wife, but he was just like, for the cases of sex, just refer to her as a woman. Dylan has very weird taste.
For the case, when they're having sex, you're just a woman. Continue.
And so Dylan just put it in. She
Mm.
full orgasm. Then he took it out, and then he nutted a full load shaped exactly like his son. Picked that up, and shoved it inside his wife, and just went,
Mm.
"Congrats." And then his son was born 45 minutes later.
Yeah, yeah. It was more like making a cookie for me. You make the
Yeah.
shape out of a kid out of the load, and then you put it in the woman, and then it's done.
The other thing that I will never forget about when Dylan's wife was pregnant was how, and
Mm-hmm.
this is true of any man who is about to be a father for the first time, is they are just a rageful, angry, quiet asshole for 9 months because there's nothing they can do to actually control or help a situation for 9 months, and then they become totally calm and very happy to be a father. Every single father to
Yeah, you
be
do. There's a lot of what do you call it? There's a lot of
quiet reflection and intense anger.
anxiety.
Yes. And literally what happens is then the kid is born, and then they are just like, "Yep, got it, perfect. This is what I was born to do: wear comfortable clothes and talk with authority about things I know literally nothing about."
I'll tell you how that works. Shut up.
Mm.
Although I was driving with my father-in-law, and there was he's all about shortcuts.
Of
He's
course,
late 60s
that's what
man.
that's what
Just
happens when you're your grandfather. Grandfathers, what do we?
100% shortcuts.
You want to take the one? I didn't realize we were wasting our time. We're going to take
Exactly.
11 different short, small streets that equal out to it basically being the same amount of time if I speed and do about 8 reckless driving maneuvers.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna stop, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, 600 times because of all the stop signs. Because
But I
there's
will be
no,
speeding to the next stop sign. It'll
yeah.
go rip, 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 rip.
It says 30. I'm doing 50. I'll make up the time anyway. And on one of his routes, the road where there's a road closed sign. It said road closed. So we rolled down the window. Don't know why I did this. Pointed at the sign and said "fuck off," and then he went on the road. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. Pointed at the sign, "fuck you." Drove down the road anyway, and I was like, "All right, well, I mean, you could have just drove down the road. You didn't have to tell the sign to fuck off."
Yeah, no, he did. I totally get
That's a
that
man's
because
man.
what it is he's looking at you, letting you know you better not be responsible
No
for
one,
the road being closed.
yeah, no one knows. No one tells me what to do, even fucking signs. Mayor was here, I'd tell him to fuck off too.
Speaking of not being told what to do, Kerry Von Erich is on this pay-per-view, and not only is he on this pay-per-view, he wins the Intercontinental title, which is, I always forget, this is where he becomes the Intercontinental Champion. Now, this was supposed to be
Should we
Brutus
talk
the
about
Barber.
Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty's horrible drinking problem?
We'll get to that. I want to talk about Kerry Von Erich and Mr. Perfect were wearing the same trunks in the pre-interview of this match, pardon me. And then clearly Kerry was told to change, so he shows up wearing the same knee pads as Kurt Hennig, but different trunks. And his pre-tape interview is so clearly a man who is either coming down from something or going up on something, just trying to maintain. Because he talks a lot about how tornadoes are a real thing, and he is one.
Well, it's also he has to differentiate himself from the Ultimate Warrior, who he looks a lot like. Like, this was the other thing. He was the modern day warrior, and you obviously get the Ultimate Warrior. They look so similar, and now they're the the Intercontinental Champion and the World Champion, respectively. I say this because I remember being 5 and kind of being like, oh, I think the Ultimate Warrior just took off his face paint and then fought on the undercard. I guess the face paint gives him his special powers.
I also think that it's important to notice that this is probably the only time that Vince McMahon had 2 champions that he thinks look like champions. That is a champion.
Because this is like, and it's been said before, this is literally this is the dude he tried to recruit along with Hulk Hogan to be his champion to start the Rock and Wrestling, and then he gets Ultimate Warrior. Vince McMahon hates physical imperfections. I guarantee it just nicked away at him that Hulk Hogan was bald the whole time. And then when business went down with the Ultimate Warrior, he was like, "Oh, okay, I guess it's fine. We had a bald guy."
I guarantee Hulk Hogan wears bandanas to this day because of the lewd voicemail messages left by Vince McMahon at all hours of the day. Hello, is the ugly girl there? The ugly bald girl named Terry.
I guarantee he's like, "Hey, your shoes are untied, Hulk," and he's like, "What?" He just spit on the crown of his head, like,
Yeah.
"That's what happens when you have no hair there. Men spit on you."
Every day. Dylan, look at me. Every day, Vince McMahon would just throw up on Hulk Hogan's head.
Once again, one of the best things about Hogan Knows Best, that
Them watching
Hulk
porn
Hogan
in the gym.
has.
No. There's nothing else better than the
That's
time
true.
they watch porn in
one
the
of.
gym. Okay,
Is that
that's
Hulk
fine.
Hogan has do rags that he wears around the house, and then he also has a skull bandana that he wears to funerals.
Of course. And
Won't
of course,
just show the dome. Always has the coverage of the dome.
never forget, this is a man who said in a court of law, well, there's my penis, and then there's Hulk
Hogan's
Hogan's
penis is fucking big, and Terry Bollea's is not that big.
I have seen both penises. They're pretty good. They're not as big as mine or Dylan's or anyone who listens to this podcast. We all have bigger penises than Hulk Hogan. Everyone knows that. And all of the women, you have
there you go.
the vagina equivalent.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you'd like. Whatever you'd like. I'm still not sure how those things work, quite frankly. And I've tried to learn.
Or whatever you like.
I keep asking questions. Every time I'm on a train, I'll just turn to a strange lady. What do you like about your vagina? Not a sexual question, just curious. And then they're like, "You're a strange man." And I'll be like, "You're not wearing a mask. So guess what? Rules of decorum are off."
One of the things were, I think it was like some feminist tweeting.
Get that tone out of your mouth. Get that tone out of your mouth.
No,
Dylan.
here's why.
Get that tone out.
Where I'm going.
Get that tone out.
You didn't like how the car started, but don't worry, the destination will get you all, Randy.
Are we going to an Arby's?
She basically said, "Oh, if you ever feel weird talking to a woman, just imagine you're talking to The Rock and just like pretend they're actively to pretend they're a man, and you'll just talk to women normally." And then I was kind of trying to play that out, and like, you know, just the way men sort of just compliment each other's genitals. If it'd just be weird to walk up to one of your female friends and be like, "Looks like you got a fucking tight pussy," and she's like, Why would you say that?" You're like, I don't know. I complimented his dink.
I don't compliment
say that?
I don't
know.
compliment. It's here's the weird thing about me. I don't compliment men on their penis or balls, but I will. I rate
balls.
them. Neither. I rate them based off of man boob.
I just talk about perineum distance. I'm like, wow, you look like you got a whole long walk between your butthole and your balls.
You know what's interesting about my perineum?
Mm.
It's a short walk, but very scenic. A lot
All
of
the hair
scars.
that's supposed to be on my testicles is on my perineum.
I've cut little things. I'm a cutter. Not really.
Oh,
But
okay.
sometimes just to release, what I'll do is I'll just make a slow. I've carved my initials along my perineum. So if someone's giving me a rim job and they're not sure who they're rimming, because that happens sometimes, you just look over and be like, "Oh, it's John."
Yeah.
There's his initials right there in his perineum.
JH. That's good.
JRMCH.
Ooh, JRMCH. Jim Ross, Michael Hardwood. So
That's my full name.
sick finisher by Power and Glory. This is right. This is when.
Okay, this is Mark. Okay, we'll go. We'll come back. We'll come back to the coke head that is Kerry Von Erich and talk about the coke heads that are Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels just has a nap in the ring and Marty Jannetty gets beaten up. And it's just a really fun thing. Slick is the most slick he's ever been. Like, he is the best in this pay-per-view. He's at ringside all the time.
Slick's dope.
And he's just fucking surprised. Like, everything that happens with his guys, he's like, what? It's great. It's like, usually the events are predetermined, but no one told the slickster about all this good stuff.
I think that managers are obviously way, way better back then, but I do like that AEW is using managers in like mid-card roles.
But
now.
AEW is using managers the way that the NWA used them, which is like, and now a drunk guy is going to stand quietly near you and attract you.
I like that.
I want them to bring back late 80s,
Steve?
early 90s manager of like, here's a nerd dressed like an asshole yelling. Every manager should be Bill Alfonso. Bill Alfonso is the great. It goes Bill Alfonso, Bobby Heenan in terms of managers, because
Mm.
Bill Alfonso annoys the shit out. You could put Bill Alfonso with who's the most over with CM Punk, and everyone would be like, "Oh fuck CM Punk." Just with Bill Alfonso, beep beep, best in the world, best in the world, daddy, best in the world. Oh,
I
I
like it.
want that so bad.
He was just Flavor Flav. He was just Flavor. He was the wrestling
Fully
Flavor Flav.
smoking crack in front of a straight
Yeah.
edge man. Do you know how
Oh,
fun that
no
would be?
teeth.
Oh no 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 teeth. Daddy, daddy, CM Punk, daddy.
So here's what we get. We get obviously Texas Tornado beating Mr. Perfect. It must have sucked for Mr. Perfect. Maybe this time he thought he was going to get the title. Who knows?
Mr.
Because you're
Perfect
right,
does have
like-
the title.
No, I mean like the world title. Because when he loses to Texas Tornado,
Oh
loses
yeah,
the
because he goes.
Intercontinental title.
Doesn't he go into a program with one Ultimate Warrior?
the one Billy Gunn.
I missed the one Billy Gunn. What a quality wrestler!
I guess
that
it
was.
is interesting that like Hogan uses all the monsters, so it's like I guess Ultimate Warrior has a lot of trouble with these thin guys.
Yeah.
Like not actually thin; they're on steroids. And they're
Well, what it
250
is
pounds,
that
but-
is they don't have any heels. This is the WWE heel problem really coming to forefront because Hogan takes the one heel that they've been building for the champ, who was Hogan, but is the Warrior. It should have been Earthquake Warrior, Hogan, Rude. And it also should have been Hogan, Rude in the steel cage, which have given it a reason for it to happen. The Heenan family's going to interfere. That's how you do it. Like, it's again one of those things where how do you make wrestling work? Is you use your pieces correctly and you don't get infected by the politics. This is still a time where I think that if Vince McMahon right here had just been like, if Hogan had been like, don't like it, brother, and Vince McMahon had been like, okay, see ya. He's not going to WCW. WC, like, they don't have a smart businessman in charge of that company. Hulk Hogan doesn't really have anywhere to go. His trips to Hollywood have failed. Like, Suburban Commando rules, but that's only because I haven't seen it since I was 6. So, like,
Well, also this is him filming Suburban Commando, so this is Hulk Hogan being like, "I'm gonna fucking make it. I'm gonna be the dude, bro."
yeah, he's gonna be in a fucking movie called Mr. Nanny or Mr. Nanny, where a guy throws a dog in the water for no reason whatsoever.
Great.
You know the clip I'm talking about, yeah?
Everyone does, baby.
It's really good.
It's really, really good. So the next match is Sherry and Sapphire.
So good. This is Sapphire doesn't show up. They play the theme song so many times. Sherry is fucking crazy backstage. It's so fun. And then we get Dusty Rhodes trying to find Sapphire throughout the rest of the pay-per-view. That involves him asking Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who just walks into an interview, have you seen Sapphire? No! And then leaves. Come on.
Then we get the Warlord versus Tito Santana. All, but by the way, I think they could literally start doing this again. All these matches are 6 minutes or under. Why don't they do this again?
I don't know. It's interesting because I watched and listened to some podcast stuff just as a refresher for this podcast, and everyone complains about the amount of filler on this match, and I'm like, on this card, and I'm like, all of these wrestlers are fun to see. It's all
It's
fun
also
to
like
watch.
4-minute matches. Like, what if every single WWE match, like, okay, AEW, you guys are great. You do every match you do is like life and death. Okay, well, in WWE, like, Big E wins the title in 5 minutes because that happens sometimes and it's fun. All our shows are 2 hours long. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, there's no reason that wrestling shows shouldn't just be max 2 hours. Like, why is
Yeah,
it
they'll
that
never
every
do it.
single form of entertainment has been pared down for to cater to the fact that everyone watches
this is the
things
year that
15
I've
second
become a
increments?
like get off my
wrestling.
lawn kind of guy, like
There you go.
these damn kids, because of exactly what you're saying, which is like, this is all you need. I don't need you to remake every movie that I've already seen with new people. And I don't need wrestling. You know what wrestling should be? 4 hours long, very slow and plodding. No. Make it an hour and just drop kick. Exciting interview. Drop kick. It's over. Oh, I wanted more. Yep, I'll watch next week. For sure I'll watch next week. I can't wait I live for next week.
Yeah, I think that's the way that obviously Dave Meltzer I think has helped wrestling a lot, but it's kind of like if you're reviewing every single match, it's like everything is part of a card. So it's like the only match that should really be the one that's the piece for the entire show should be like half an hour long as the last match. You don't need like everyone going out there and doing half an hour unless you're going to do an intermission. And honestly, why not have an intermission? If it's a pay-per-view, just be like, yo, we're going to take 10 minutes. Like,
because do they do that in
fucking take it
UFC and
down.
stuff like that? And by the way, they used to do that in WrestleMania. The early
Well, they have
WrestleManias
functional
all
intermissions for the UFC. So what they'll do is they bring everyone into the cage. They have like let's say 15, 25 or 25 minutes of action. Then they have the post fight, which everyone wants to watch, and then they throw to comments about like they have an intermission, but it's not intermission. It's just like comments about the fight. Like it's clearly a chance for you to get up. They have a pre-roll package of what the guys were up to.
Yeah, well,
they
this
have
is, again,
ads.
This is something I agree with all of this. Is that this is again, it's the stuff that's keeping the home viewer entertained, and then at home they can get up more. I agree with that always. It's also I never understand where they're like, all right, we'll film 8 TV shows, especially after COVID, where all of you now have studios, which you should have had at this era. They should have been doing Superstars in a studio they owned, not going to a fucking arena.
Put them, but this is what
No, but
they
they-
would sell that arena out, and B, this is what put them apart from studio wrestling. Like, remember, Vince McMahon fucking hates studio wrestling.
I know.
I know.
Don't do such an
Sorry.
accurate impression of me. Don't do such an accurate
I
impression of
know.
me. I don't like that.
Anyway, your boy Tito Santana getting fucking punked off again by the Warlord.
Yeah, he fucking does. Oh, and I enjoy it very much. I enjoy it very much. Just seeing the Warlord, it's so nice. Just seeing a nice man. Also, the Warlord was supposed to be Rick the Model Martel, but he was injured, and they just said he was modeling in France, which I also enjoyed.
Yeah, and then the Warlord also stole all the heat by beating Tito Santana. I was like, well, he's gonna win because he's fucking jacked as shit.
Yeah, he fucking is, man. He's so fucking hot. Where's the fucking matches? Fuck you.
Do you think the Warlord did more steroids than everyone else, or do you think he's just better at doing steroids?
He's better at doing steroids than everyone else.
He has one of the best thoughty bodies I've ever seen,
Oh my
bro.
god, he's just. What's nice though is he just seems like a nice, quiet gym teacher now. Like he's just sort of like, I don't know. All right.
Hey guys, if you want to work, get ahead, work hard, and also inject into your hog.
Yeah, make sure you put all the steroids inside your cock's hole. Then you have the Heart Foundation versus
I hope the
Demolition.
Warlord teaches sex ed.
Oh my god, he does. He
And
does
then
it, but
it's
he does
just-
it.
And he's
He
just
does
one
it
of those
with
guys who like
own-
steroids worked out for. So all of sex ed is just like, first of all, you don't get roid rage. I've never had roid rage. Second of all, it just makes your balls small, which makes your fucking hog look like a beast. And then also women have ovaries or something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You've nailed it. Once again, everyone, Dylan's nailed it.
Women give birth to their babies outside of with their vagina or something, but men are born when you put the fucking testosterone in their ass, bro.
He's got a giner. He's got a
Now
giner.
the rest of this is just gonna be me doing pull-ups with fucking 100-pound fucking dumbbells attached to my waist, bitches.
I want to let everyone know. I want to see their giners.
First part of fucking sex ed of a tournament size off. Which one of
Here's-
you kids has a big dinger? If you
I wa-
win with the biggest dinger gets to fucking teach the class.
Everyone knows. You want to know how you teach a fucking class? I find out who has the biggest fucking tastiest fucking cock in here. All right, so everyone
No,
fucking
get the tastiest suck test.
yeah. You got to describe the flavor to me. I can't touch it. That would be weird. And they're like, "What? Who are you?" And he's like,
We're gonna
"Hey,
do yoga till we can suck our own hogs. Then you're gonna tell
Yeah,
me
yeah.
what your wang tastes like.
Welcome everyone to what was once called Sex Ed and is now called Be Joe Rogan. I'm Joe Rogan, friend of the
Now
Warlord.
it's
Hi everybody.
It was once called sex ed. Now is called legally. For by the way, teacher sexually harasses children.
Now, here's what I like to point out, and here's what I don't like about the world, is that nothing is surprising me anymore, but everyone else is like, I can't fucking believe Joe Rogan said he can suck his own dick. And I'm just like, man, I know like 2 guys that actually can, and they will bring it up at any opportunity. So just be happy that
100%.
there's, like,
He's
what are
just a
you
bro.
doing? This is the thing, but I'm more and more I'm realizing, oh, you guys just don't hang out with bro scumbags.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to, like, It's a thing
This
we've
is like
talked
the
about it.
the amount of people that read like The Guardian, or The Guardian catches a lot of shit. What's another one? What's another good one? Anyway, any of these like intellectual, like you kind of like go to high school where you actually hang out with everybody, and then you kind of like start living within a bubble starting in college. Like especially if you're intelligent, you start living in this like intellectual
To me,
bubble. Yeah. But like comedians, we are the canaries in the coal mine, John. No, but like
oh, are we?
we since we're clowns for everybody are subject to every single type of audience, so we know, like, you perform for construction workers, you perform for fucking wealth management people, you kind of know how different people are, how different parts of communities are the same and different. But it's just like all these people, like, can you believe Joe Rogan's saying this? Like, wait a minute, can I believe a 52-year-old guy who is a black belt in Taekwondo from Boston is saying these things? Yes, I can. Like, it's just because the show isn't called the Broy Bro Down and it's just called the Joe Rogan Experience that people put weight behind this shit. So can you believe people actually listen to this? Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Can I believe that they're in the hundreds of millions? I'm surprised it's on the billions, man. People.
Howard Stern was famous before that, and he was just like, on the radio, here's a woman's vagina. And everyone was like,
Yeah.
I can imagine it. I can imagine it.
I mean, what is crazy about Howard Stern more than anything is that it was watching a guy being like, let me tell you what's never going to be a thing, podcasts. And now he is still like, if I wanted to be a loser and listen to two people, I'd start a podcast like this Joe Ogan and this Martian Mernon. Never heard of them. Bad.
I
And it's
like
like
that he invented the podcast and also hates them.
he refuses to use it. Like app
I do talk
absolutely will not
radio,
use it.
which is just I do talk radio with specific guests that I bring in. So a podcast, no, because sometimes I have callers. Podcasts have callers, no. Anyway, whatever. Let's stop talking about that and start talking about a man who somehow doesn't have a podcast. The Hart Foundation beating Demolition.
I thought
And
Bret
I
Hart
see-
does have a podcast. I thought he had a podcast.
Bret Hart does not have a podcast. He just does, which is way better, live stuff where he gets to charge for him being there, which is much smarter than being like, please, hey, do you like stamps? No? Well, fuck you. Buy some anyway.
Yeah. Hey, do you? I mean, we can never. I would like to make sure that no one ever forgets the period of time when Jim Cornette was sponsored by Blue Chew and just talked about how hard his listeners' dicks were.
No, it wasn't sponsored by Blue Chew. He was the only, for a time, he was the only wrestling podcast that wasn't sponsored by Blue Chew. 'cause
That's what it was. So
Conrad
he just talked.
Thompson
He just
was
talked about how
literally doing
hard.
every single other wrestling podcast, and he was like, "We don't fucking need to sell that shit. We have a weird lawyer." His
Yeah,
is like a lawyer.
That lawyer's name is Stephen P. New, and I don't
Stephen
know
P.
what he.
New.
I don't know what information he has on Jim
Stephen
Cornette,
P.
but I
New.
assume. Well, you know what? That was great.
Mm-hmm. What information he has? For sure he's fucked his wife. I don't know. Everyone
Like for
forgets-
sure he has.
Everyone forgets Jim Cornette's like he's not. He's first. One part of his personality is old man yells at cloud, and the other part of his personality is I'm in a zipper mask and I'm on a stove actively just so I'm roasting a bit. Please have sex with my wife. I feel pain. I love.
Yeah. I was.
Anyway,
yeah,
Best 2 out of 3 falls is what I was
Go ahead.
getting to. It's a 14-minute match. I was like, why is this 14 minutes? Oh, because Bret Hart's amazing. And then it's 3 slugs and Bret Hart. But I mean, honestly, the anvil was pretty sick. Also, in the pre-match interview, Bret Hart ends it by saying, just like Phil Collins said, two hearts
Oh,
beat
it's
as
so
one,"
weird.
which is
It's
like,
so
all
weird
right.
that he does that, where he's just like,
He could have just been like, we're going to fight you, instead of being like, let me tell you what I like, Genesis.
that's so funny. Yeah.
What are you doing to the camera? You're like covering the camera. Ooh.
Oh
Wanna see it?
no!
You want to do
I'm
this?
trying to move the light so it stays consistent because it keeps changing.
Peekaboo.
There we go. Did that work?
Peekaboo.
Well, that works perfectly.
I was scared. I didn't know where you were. So yeah,
here.
it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. The Road Warriors come down and help because this is the Road Warriors' first, not one of the first appearances in the WWF. And Demolition turns heel. John, I didn't watch. This is around the time I think I started watching professional wrestling. John, explain to me why did Vince McMahon sell out his property for the Road Warriors? Because
Road
it seems
Warriors,
like he would just be like, "You,
Road
yeah."
Warriors were better because
But it's Vince
of
McMahon. Wouldn't he be like, "No, Demolition's better"?
no, because in his head he's just going, I need, nay, I demand that all wrestling is conducted by hot, muscly boys, and Demolition were lumpy old dads.
Demolition, like for their gimmick, maybe and especially for that time,
For that time, and also for the fact that they
it's
got over,
crazy.
and I also, which no one likes, I prefer Demolition to the Road Warriors.
Well, yeah, because you probably started watching.
I just like Demolition more because I think Demolition are like the Road Warriors look like superheroes, and Demolition look like fucking like goons.
I guess.
And
I mean, honestly, I was more reared on the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. So
I'm
when I
sure
see
you
Demolition,
were.
it just looks like. Honestly, it's just like, oh, this is my uncle who thinks he could still fucking kick the shit out of me at arm wrestle.
That's
You know
what
what
I
I mean?
like about it. But this is the thing that no, I don't think this is talked about enough. But so many of the guys in WWE in the Golden Age just look like kids, angry stepdads. This is fun stepdad. This is bad stepdad.
Oh yeah, it's totally like big man, but also like their gimmicks would be like the black.
It's also
bully,
Bill
and
Eadie.
Not, I am an
I just
interstellar
double checked
warlord.
this, but it also is Bill Eadie's heart was supposedly very dangerous to just killing him, and
Yes.
Vince McMahon was like, "Well, then you can't
That's why they
work
got
here."
Crush. And also,
Yeah,
Crush
that's what.
looks bad. Like Chris looks.
This is why the whole thing
bad.
was amazing.
You can always see that too. Like when you think of Crush, Kona Crush, and then you think of Biker Crush. It's
Okay,
like, they do always
but
cover up his upper
also,
half.
yeah, but Kona Crush had the worst gut ever. Like Kona Crush looks like,
That
oh,
was great. I loved Kona Crush.
you did not.
I did.
Kona Crush is gross.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
I will not shut the fuck up. Whoa,
Shut the
Dylan,
fuck
you
up,
know how?
bitch.
No, Dylan,
This
no.
means I love you in Hawaii. Kona Crush. I'm crushing some pineapples, and I fucking hate clowns. Remember that? Where I fucking hate clowns. I love that we're like completely run out of things to do and say. Thank God for ECW, so they could steal it. Because otherwise, it'd just be like, I don't know, crushing the doink again.
Yeah, I don't know. Crush versus fucking. I mean, the way they did Doink was so annoying. He's born again. Oh, fuck you, Paul Heyman. Fuck off.
I do like that. I like that he's born again Christian Matt Bourne.
Oh, do
anyway,
you?
We got to do a Matt Bourne episode because I don't know why he left WWF.
I think it's because they were like, Matt, you cannot, and I got to stress this, full smoke a cigarette in the ring. And he was like, it's my art.
I mean, that adds a lot to the Doink character, though.
Honestly,
God,
yeah, but not the way. Yeah, but he was smoking it
like,
with his asshole.
Done. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was using the devil's lips.
So Jake the Snake Roberts against Bad News Brown.
Oh
special
yeah,
guest referee.
Snake, Big Boss Man. This is Dylan Gott's dream. Two out of shape men with animals in the corner, just with the Big Boss Man wearing a ball cap, so you know he's the referee.
Also, Big Boss Man, the referee. The optics aren't in 2021 aren't the best. The referee is the cop, and who's the good guy? The African American person or the dude who owns snakes with a skullet? You better believe it's the Southern guy who owns snakes.
Of course it is. What is this? Some sort of fucking weird other like? Yeah.
Also, don't specifically snakes eat rats?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's also so that the snakes aren't supposed to affect Damien. The snakes are supposed to eat Jake, is what is intimated. I had to listen to, because I couldn't figure it out either, and so I listened to all of Old School Wrestling Review, OSW Review, and they make the point, because they went back and watched the TV running up, that Bad News Brown was intimating he's going to feed Jake to the snakes, or to the rats, because Jake always intimates he feeds people to Damien, which is crazy, but then they could have just had him just say he's got a mongoose in a cage, which just eats snakes.
But then I guarantee that was pitched, and then Vince was like, "What's a mongoose? No one knows."
Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, Never mention mongoose again.
And it's got the word goose in it. And if you look up mongoose, they don't look vicious. They're like, oh, they seem kind of friendly.
Yeah, that's true. It's like looking up a honey badger where you're like, they seem all right. And you're like, they're not.
Yeah, they're not. Anyway, Jim Duggan and Nikolai Volkov beat the Orient Express. This is, of
Oh,
course,
this promo is wild, Dylan.
Explain.
The Americans and the Russians talk about how there's only one enemy, and they are from the country of Japan, and they do not use that whole word.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't say the whole word, do they, John?
No, they don't. They don't say the end of the word. They only use the beginning.
They only use the beginning of the word.
That's right.
Would you say they're using World War II era? Like, this is the best thing. I also listened to some podcasts about this, and then they were like, "This is kind of racist." I was like, "Kinda."
Here's what I want to say for
I love wrestling bubbles where it's like I've only hung
in
out
terms
with the same
of
five
wrestling.
guys.
No, but hang on. In terms of wrestling, this is not that racist.
In terms, yeah, because they still use this slur for years. Like
Hulk Hogan uses Hulk Hogan uses the like constantly, and Hulk Hogan
off camera
knows Yokozuna's not from Japan. He just doesn't know what the slur for Samoan man is.
It's very funny that they use the slur and don't even do the good grace to get an actual Japanese person to play the character. Like, that's ultimate.
Welcome to Vince McMahon's world. It's wild.
It's great. You know,
I mean,
it's
I don't
really
think you know
good.
what that word means.
It's good that we we were raised on this.
I can't. Yeah, it really makes complete sense while we're doing this show. All right.
I remember that I was told not to watch wrestling because it was like stupid, but never like the actual reason, which would be this is racist fucking garbage.
Yeah, this is bad for your fucking mind.
Instead, they were like,
they're
that's
just like,
not how a fight works. Like, that was the main. You can't just Irish whip a guy.
I mean,
but
I do
it's
agree
fine that this guy
problem.
is playing a character that is a savage, and the other guy's character is that he's sneaky. That's fine. Anyway, next match, Randy Savage beat Dusty Rhodes in 2 minutes. I mean, you got to do it. Someone's mad, though. Someone's mad that Randy Savage beat Dusty Rhodes in 2 minutes, even though it's like
he didn't. But
like
he didn't
said,
beat him.
It's
a count out. It's a count out. It's a count out, bitch.
But he's a fatty.
Hey, bitch. Hey, bitch.
He's a fatty.
Hey, bitch. Hey, bitch.
Doesn't matter. It's a count out. He's fatty.
Either way, it's a really good way of actually preserving both people's heat because Dusty Rhodes is off to start another feud, and it's this weird way of they end a feud without either one of them losing or winning. Like, it's like, oh, Dusty's off to fight a different feud with the $1 Million Man, and Randy Savage is off to suck his own dick, I think.
Yeah.
There's no match
part
to
of the
speak
complete
of.
storyline. This is like another part of the storyline, which no one talks about. How like the Mega Powers colliding was really only part of the storyline, and the full storyline being Randy Savage and Elizabeth eventually going from an abusive relationship on television for years to I'm gonna say on television a bunch in storyline going from basically an abusive relationship to equal partners.
Yeah, if you could just say abusive relationship and equal partners a few more times, I don't think everyone got your point.
On screen. Off screen, she left. Good for her.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, anyway, Dusty Rhodes went backstage because he's fucking fat. Not like me.
Whoa. Woo!
Next match, of course, and I didn't realize how it's so silly that they didn't leave a buffer in between here, but like Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake.
It is wild, and they go right into it. It is everything you've wanted from a Hulk Hogan match because of what I've always wanted is for no reason Tugboat to be there. Where's Tugboat? There he is. He's Hulk Hogan's new best friend, Tugboat.
Also, Boss Man doing double duty here, bitch.
How do you feel about that? It's wild that Boss Man does not have a match at this, though. That's what I couldn't figure out. I was like, why wouldn't they just give him a match?
I like that Boss Man didn't have to fight anyone, really. He just was a good man. He's just a good man.
Just a nice, good
also,
man.
I didn't realize that like Hulk Hogan was like, this is probably why I was fat, and like
Go
well,
ahead.
am fat
Go
still,
ahead.
is because wrestling taught me that if you can't be buff, you might as well be fat, baby, because skinny people don't exist. Pro wrestling, bitch. It's just
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan and his fat friends.
yeah. Welcome to wrestling, bitch.
I can't be jacked. I'm 8. Might as well get fat like the boss man. Dope.
I mean, the boss man isn't even fat. He just looks like a cop.
Oh, he's fat.
Yeah, but he still just looks
Then
like
he
a
became a
cop.
thin boss man and became evil. That's what happens. You get thin, you get
Oh,
evil.
I loved evil thin boss man.
He was so evil.
He was so thin
We're
too.
gonna do the year of boss man every
Hot,
year.
yummy
We're
boy.
gonna get 6 months every 6 months out of every year of his life. Anyway, Hulk Hogan. Did you know he beat Earthquake? Earthquake didn't win.
I was absolutely shocked about this because going in, I was like, "There's no way."
Earthquake was dope, by the way. This is, of course, after he's injured. Hogan, his finishing move is the most direct big guy finishing move of all time. He literally just sits. Oh, John's playing peekaboo again.
Oh fuck!
He literally just sits on Hulk Hogan and injures him.
It's
and
so
that's how
good.
it works.
I used to do this to high school bullies that would call me fat. Then I would just sit on them. Broke one
Yeah,
kid's
exactly.
retainer. His dad tried to sue my mom. She said, "Fuck off."
Earthquake. That's what you did. You did the earthquake to him.
Yeah. Earthquake,
Also, his
bitch.
finishing move is the same as his name, which is dope.
That is, I got to tell you, and I mean this,
Earthquake with the earthquake.
Dylan, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I also like that.
This is one of the times where it's like, I know territories obviously have certain styles, but I feel
Go
like
ahead.
the WWE could have broken that style and had Earthquake be their champion for a while because he was so fucking over.
I actually 100% agree with you. Is that I think they always looked the wrong way, where they were always like, "We gotta fucking move past this motherfucking guy with a new face," which is have a guy beat him free, like basically just have a heel champion for a year, and then Hogan comes back after a year, beats him, would be the same refresher. Do you know what I'm saying? It's that thing of like, if they had just let Austin lose a couple of matches and he could take some time off, I think he would have gotten longer longevity out of that character.
Well, they did. They ended up doing that, of course, with Triple H. Like, they give him the title for a while. But in this era, it's very much Saturday morning television where it's like the bad guys are pretty impotent. Like, if you get a long-term bad guy champion, it's the Intercontinental Champion, and the inference is that the Intercontinental Champion can't beat up the World Champion. So it's kind of like, you could have put, if you're looking at Saturday morning cartoon level, you would have been like, oh, our entire world is in jeopardy now because, you know, the championship is on the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
And
we don't
they
know
totally
what
could have
will
done with
happen.
Earthquake. I mean, you look at this match now and you look at everything now and you're like, Earthquake fucking sucked. But, like, man, when we were kids, couldn't imagine a meaner looking man, just full skullet at 27. That's testosterone, baby.
Yeah. You know what that guy is? That's a guy who goes, "Vegetables. I didn't realize I was trying to make myself sick."
He's with Jimmy Hart, of course, one of the great early 90s heels. Just exactly what you said, just like an annoying man. And, of course, Dino Bravo, baby.
Yeah, just a fucking cigarette smuggler. Please welcome.
Yeah, Dino Bravo's
an
got a fucking bunch of
absolute
Marlboro
crep.
Reds in the back and a
Oh,
bunch of
yeah,
Kidnap
yeah.
Bikers ready to just fucking light the arena on fire if he doesn't pay up.
Salut!
A salut. Anyway, last match, the Ultimate Warrior against Ravishing Rick Rude. This is Rick Rude's last match as a WWF boy. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, last match.
Wild stuff.
He gets injured. Him and Vince get in an argument. He goes to WCW. But yeah, Ultimate
Yes, he does.
Warrior.
He joins the Dangerous Alliance. Ultimate Warrior turns Rick Rude into a little baby boy bitch.
Yeah,
in this
Ultimate
match.
Warrior wins. Rick Rude climbs out of the cage. Or at one point, Rick Rude climbs out of the cage. Can just win the title if he wants to, but then does a double axe handle.
It's so
Like,
wild. This match
gets
is
a
so
visual
wild
win.
because it's very much Rick Rude is. Rick Rude knows how to fuck with the Ultimate Warrior, and boy does he in this match. Like, it's pretty fucking crazy.
But it's also a retread, like exactly what you said, where it's like,
Yeah, of course it's a retread. Dylan.
hi.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's a retread. It's like he's already won this feud against Rick Rude. And then now you're asking people to care again in the final match when you've got Hulk Hogan against one of his best. Like, Earthquake got so much more juice out of that Hulk Hogan character. Because remember, people are starting to fucking actively boo Hulk Hogan during this period. That's not
Why
talked
wouldn't you?
about, but
Yeah, Dylan more than anyone booed Hulk Hogan in this period.
oh, I never
Ooh,
did.
he
That
would-
was not cool.
I always booed him. I was
That's my
always
favorite thing about.
I was always an Owen Hart man. I've always found Bret Hart to be very annoying.
Ooh. Yeah, that's my favorite
Yes.
thing about internet wrestling fans will be like, I actually didn't like Hogan when I was
It's like, yeah,
literally
you
our
did.
age. I'm like, yeah, you did.
You did.
You loved
Like-
the Demandments. You loved his secret messaging about who the master race was.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, dude, Bad News Brown doesn't have what it takes to be a member of society, brother.
Brother, what you got to remember though, dude, is I don't like him.
It is funny, like, we listen to Hulk Hogan promos, and it's weird that, like, think of his character being a right-wing surfer guy. Surf's up, dude, and by that I mean for communists.
Yeah. What you gonna do when exactly?
Oh, okay. I don't know. We've never done a review of a specific pay-per-view before.
I love this pay-per-view. I think it's one of the most important internet nerd pay-per-views, and that it's everybody we love doing at just after the height. So it's still like it's like a party after the really fun party. No expected to be good. There's a lot of like, this is going to be pretty great, and you're like, that's right. The big boss man's the referee twice. And twice? That's awesome. And you're like, that's right.
This is a changing of the guard for sure, because it's like, this is the tail end of. You think about this as the end of the Hulkamania era, but really, it's like kind of like that 8 months of them, like trying the Ultimate Warrior on for size, and then deciding, no, this sucks.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
How many pay-per-views is he champion for? Because does he lose it at the next one?
No, he loses at Royal Rumble. I can do this. He wins it at WrestleMania, has it for SummerSlam, has it for Survivor Series. By the way, this SummerSlam is great. The Survivor Series 90 is my favorite of all the Survivor Series, and it has the weird. All of the survivors have a battle royal at the end match. The ultimate survivor.
Oh yeah. Well, also, you can say this too about Survivor Series: the best, like the most cohesive Survivor Series team of all time, which is the Warriors, the modern day Warrior, Ultimate Warrior, and the Road Warriors. Which is so funny because they kind of have to acknowledge they have to acknowledge 3 outside companies to make that work.
But they do, and it's great. I love this
course.
pay-per-view. I every cum monkey who go watch it on Daily Motion, go watch it on the network. It's a really fun time. You're gonna walk away. This is how you walk away. You're gonna walk away like Dylan. Look at me.
Oh yeah, the fucking, I forgot to say one thing. Ultimate Warrior's promo before the main event. He says what? Hey, what is Bobby Heenan, Rick Rude, and Liberty Bell have in common?
They're all cracked.
Yeah, one of them's cracked and the other's a ding dong.
That's not what he says.
Yeah, he is.
No, it is. Show me the promo, fuckface.
Show you the promo? All right. Do you have time?
Yeah. Show the promo. Show the promo. Show me the promo. Show me the promo. Dylan, show me the promo. Then I'm gonna go have diarrhea and go to the gym. First I'm gonna have diarrhea, then go to the gym. Dylan. Go to the gym. First I'm gonna watch the promo, then I'm going to the gym and having sex with Dylan.
There's the promo.
Where?
So what should I do? This?
Don't
Ooh,
no,
now
don't
you're
touch don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
Why?
Because I'll do it.
You made it stupid.
I didn't make it stupid.
You made it stupid. Now it's stupid. You got the Daily Motion link?
Oh, do I? It's about to come up, you little bitch. You little bitch. much. I'm in the mood for loving. It's not loading, Dylan. You little punk fuck.
Why isn't it loading?
Load me. I'll reload. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, let's... Prick.
I said, Ultimate Warrior, I can't wait to fucking kill you. You're
Ultimate
a wild
Warrior.
beast, and you must be tamed.
Ultimate Warrior, every time I see you, it's like seeing my neighbor buy a nice car I want to drive. What that I mean is I'm going to remove your organs and live inside your chest cavity like a dirty worm. They'll call me Dirty Worm Gene, and I will love it.
I saw this television show where a man lives inside a larger man called the Ninja Turtles. I will be Krang. You will be my robot. I will own
Yes.
you.
I am nothing but fear. I live for nothing but fear. I live for nothing but fear.
personified. So
Yeah.
there you go, and that's probably another reason why the Ultimate Warrior sucked. Is because someone clearly wrote him that line, and then
He said it.
it was he said it instead of. It's also weird to be like, "Hey, I'm funny now." All my other promos have just been about like controlling the whole world or something.
Yeah,
But anyway, the Ultimate Warrior, juicy as hell. John, we're gonna do a poll and see who we're gonna fucking talk about after this.
Here's the best thing about
Fuck
here's the
yourself.
best thing about this pay-per-view. It's a really
Tell me.
fun gathering of all of the funnest wrestlers from the 80s and 90s right before it all falls apart. Here's the worst thing about it. The booking of Hulk Hogan versus the booking of Ultimate Warrior is so clearly in favor of Hulk Hogan. It's very irritating, as are the optics and, let's just be honest, the straight up vibes of the Boss Man interaction with Bad News Brown. Bear in mind,
All right.
Vince McMahon wanted the match to end with Big Boss Man just shooting Bad News Brown, looking into the camera and going, "Yep."
Camera phones don't exist yet, buddy. All right, I got a question then. What makes you more uncomfortable? The Jim Duggan, Nikolai Volkov, Orient Express promo, or the Boss Man interaction with Bad News Brown? All right, not uncomfortable. If someone wants to, if a new person you were seeing, maybe it's a third date,
Yeah, great
walked
question.
into the room and was like, "What are you watching? Which one would you prefer to be watching?" I'm gonna say Boss Man Bad News Brown because it's not explicit.
Yeah, Bad News Brown, they would ignore it. All the other things, they would be like, "What did that person just say?" And it'd be like, me explaining that they've said much worse things isn't going to help the situation.
Yeah, that's always what I go to. Oh, I see way worse than this, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, if you think that should have repelled me from watching this, you'd be shocked what other things did not bother me at all.
Oh yeah, Shane Douglas has a dark match on this where it's like,
Buddy
let me tell
Rose.
you this. This is the birth of the franchise. I'm going to fucking.
It's
kill
against
at
Buddy
least
Rose
4
in
women.
in Philadelphia, meaning that it was literally Shane Douglas versus the Nature Boy, just the Shane Douglas version of the Nature Boy, Buddy Rose. Dylan, I have to go take a shit. I'm hanging up.
Bye. Have fun. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Keep
Thank
giving
you,
me
guys.
Patreon.
Guys.
You guys are the best. Thanks so much.
I love you. Bye.